So I have been asked quite a few times this week to make an accessory, and it is for the Batman figure. Now, if you look at the collector's edition, this one came in at $305. He does not include the sticky bomb gun in his little accessories panel. Let me turn this light off. And for $380, which is quite a bit more, you do get the sticky bomb gun. Now, both figures do have the holster, and if you get the collector's edition, I guess they just intend for you to have an empty holster, which doesn't make a ton of sense. And I've been asked by about 4 people to make one, so I have, and I want to go through the process of that. So I often get asked, like, can you make this thing for me? And the first thing I tell people is, let's see if we can find a file. Because I do very light design work for 3D printing, but I don't have the skills to make something like this. So I'll typically start with Google or a file repository called Yeggi, Y-E-G-G-I. And you can see here there was a few choices for the gun. So this one was $8. And this was based on the, I guess, like the art book for the film, which looked okay. But the way that he designed it, I think the inner chamber and these wires here, these little wires here were separate. And I felt like it might be a bit too fragile. And so that one was out. This guy had a pretty good design, but his shape was a bit weird. I liked his handle, but it just didn't necessarily look right. This guy had a really good design, but I want to say, based on the fact that there was 14 files and I couldn't get in contact with this guy, but I wasn't quite sure how his file was uploaded. He also, this actually may be the same file as the first one, but he also had this big like thing on the end for clipping it into a belt, I guess, but I didn't really like that. I found this file, which was free, which is by RE Props, which is cool, and it is not the most accurate for sure, but it was free. It looked good enough. Most people were really just wanting to put this in the holster, so I don't think they really necessarily cared for perfect screen accuracy. And even I think the Hot Toys does have its own issues. But this guy actually had some nice options. He did have it parted out, but in the file structure he did have the full gun in one piece, which other ones didn't. And what's nice is this guy had it where you could reproduce it for commercial use, which is what I'm doing. So the other ones did not. So we're able to save a little bit of money on buying the file, and then also, like I said, we can use it for commercial use, and we'll be sure to hit up his Ko-Fi or Coffee account. But once we have the file, we have this here. So again, the file isn't a perfect file. In fact, I did have to edit it just a little bit. So let me just put you down for a second. So if you look on Tinkercad, this is the same file, again imported, but I added a this little, you'll never really see it on the print, but I added a little cylinder on the inside because these little cartridges, which I believe are the grenades, they kept failing. I don't know if they're just separate parts of the print. Wasn't exactly sure, but they kept failing. I added the cylinder, and now I'm like 100% accuracy as far as like printing goes in terms of the success. But we have our print here. We're gonna scale it down to 14.79%. I know you might be thinking like, well, 1/6 is not 14.79%, but our good friend Collector Joey was nice enough to measure the Hot Toys sticky bomb gun for us, and so we know that it needs to be that size. And then we have to decide how we want to print it. So I like this option here, which is reduce overhang slopes. It finds the orientation by which the model is, an overhang would be like the barrel, right? If you basically want to eliminate islands so that the print isn't printing in space, because it actually prints like this. It doesn't print like you would think it would. So this point here, the very top of the gun, is a overhanging slope, right? So we need to support that. But the goal is to get the most that you can get with the print without using too much of the support material. So we're going to do auto support generate, and it'll give us our little support tree. So we could take that, and I think we only had like 3 orders so far. I mean, this isn't like I'm not gonna pay off my house with this or anything like that, but it's just an option for people who wanted to have their figure be complete, so to speak. But we're going to put it into a slicing program, which basically all a slicer does is it shows you how the print is going to form. And in fact, I think we can actually play it. Let's see. You can play it where it shows you layer by layer how the print is going to build itself up. In fact, let me see if we can go faster. I don't usually do this, but here we go. So you can see as the print goes, the first thing that gets printed is these little support structures, and then as we continue going, we actually start to print the barrel itself. And again, the whole goal of this is to eliminate overhangs, right? And we continue printing until finally we get to the very tippy top, which is the edge of the handle, which again, this is all, you can see all this green, it's supported fully, it's printing on top of itself rather than printing in midair, which is where you need those little support trees. So that gets done, we slice it, and then we send it to the printer, and I'll show you what that looks like. So once the print is done, we basically have, I'm trying not to make a mess here, but you have this. So you can see we had no failures, which is great, but we have more than what's been ordered, but you like to have backups. Every once in a while there's small points of failure, but these look good. You can see the detail on the sculpt is really good, the little wires and everything. So those all printed really well, and yeah, very happy with that. I'll let that drip overnight. But what we end up with, so this is a little large. My first attempt was a bit overscaled. I didn't have that measurement from Joey just yet, but we get a nice looking gun. It's gonna fit well in the holster. It's gonna look pretty decent on display if you decided to have your figure hold it. And it allows people, right, they don't want to spend that 80 bucks, they can spend a little less, get this for their figure, it can be complete, and they'll be happy with it. And yeah, it's, you know, supports a small business like myself. I believe this is, let's see, yeah, so this one here is the adjusted dimension that Joey gave me. So I think we cut off, I think it went from almost 2 inches to 1.75. They say size doesn't matter, but yeah, this is a little bit of a better dimension. And yeah, you can see you even get the inside of the barrel sculpted, so this is pretty cool. And if you want one, send me a message on Instagram, Zach's Wonderland, or just comment below with your email, and I'll get in touch with you. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna paint up one of these prototypes, the final prototype, and we'll let you know how it looks.